tripping, we're doing it the biggest.
Hey guys, what is going on? This is Dito, and today I'm going to show you guys an amazing gameplay and also going to be telling you guys a funny ass story that happened to me. But before I tell it, I want to tell you guys, before you guys watch this video, don't hate and make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this video or this story is actually going to be really funny. So anyways, one day my dad asked me to go on a camping trip with him, and we were going to go cliff jumping. And if you guys don't know what cliff jumping is, it's basically jumping off of high rocks into some deep water and having a great time. So basically we were going on a camping trip, and the camping trip was based on that. So before we go, my dad gets everybody together, and it's gonna be me, my dad's friend, and his 3 kids that are about 10 years old and under. And basically we're all going, and my dad stops at the liquor store and grabs some vodka and some whiskey, and then we start our trip, and we go, you know, we start looking for the campsite when we get there. And basically this campground is basically find a spot on the road and park and go camping wherever you want. And basically we found our before we found our camping spot, these girls flashed their titties, and we were just like, oh hell yeah, because we're looking at some titties, you know. So basically they do that, then we go past them, we're honking because they're like, oh, like we're like, hell yeah. So we go past them, and we find our camping spot, and we found out that that camping spot we were at, right after we got our tent up and everything, was actually a only for day use. So basically you can only use it in the day, and it was also just a parking lot. So we packed up all of our stuff and we went back, and now it's like 11 o'clock, and those girls flashed their titties again, and we're just like, oh hell yeah. So we're honking our horns, and I'm actually running because I already had like 3 shots of whiskey in me, so I'm running and I'm already buzzing. And I see that, and I'm just like, oh fuck yeah. And my dad pulls over, and he's like, hey, you guys mind if we just camp here with you guys? And they were like, oh yeah, it's cool. And we did that, and next thing you know, these guys are already drunk, by the way. Next thing you know, we're pulling out all of our whiskey and stuff, and we pulled out the cooker, and it's like a little cooking thing, and we put it behind my dad's friend's car, and we were cooking some hot dogs, but then we forgot about it, and basically now we're just drinking a whole bunch. And I had like 4 shots of whiskey, like big shots of whiskey, and then I had like a whole bunch, just put it this way, I was downing a whole bunch of vodka, which was, well, screwdrivers, which is vodka and orange juice, and I was just downing those. So after like my maybe 10th cup of that, my dad fills up my last cup, or my dad's friend fills up my last cup, and when he did it, he was drunk as fuck already, so he filled it almost all the way up with whiskey, and then did a little bit of orange juice. So my drink was fucking strong as shit, and that was my last drink, I can tell you that. What happened was I took a couple sips off of that, and everybody yelled out group hug, and we did a group hug, and I smashed my drink all over my dad because my dad was in the middle. So I just smashed my drink up against him, and he has fucking vodka and orange juice all over him now. And once we're done with that, my dad's friend yells out, James, your son is drunk, because that's my dad's name, and he yelled out that, and next thing you know, once he says that, I trip over a chair that was on the ground, and I fall on my ass, and now I'm just laughing my ass off. They helped me up, and they put me in my chair next to the fire, and I'm just looking at the fire, feeling like I'm about to pass the fuck out. That's what I'm thinking is about to happen. But actually, I'm about to just black out and fucking run for like 8 hours straight, just running back and forth about a mile every time, falling in ditches. So every time I'd run off, I would run about a mile and fall in a ditch, and my dad would call for me and tell me to keep saying fuck you, and because I was yelling fuck the cops and telling my dad to fuck off. And basically he found me, and I was just like, fuck you, man. And he told us to go, or told me to go back to the camp. And I was like, alright. And he was like, come on, man, you gotta stop running around. I'm trying to get laid tonight. And I was like, oh yeah, let's get some pussy. And I just fucking yell, I'm about to fuck some bitches. And he's like, don't, they might hear us. And I'm like, alright. And then he takes me back to the camp, and now I'm just laying in the road, and I'm just looking up at the sky. And now everybody's surrounding me. Not everybody, but 3 of the girls and my dad were surrounding me, and they were wondering what I was looking at, because I was just looking up in the sky. And they're like, what you looking at, bud? And I'm like, those titties. And they're like, they laugh, and they're like, what titties? I'm like, I point up in there, and I'm like, those titties right there. And they're like, oh, those titties in the tree. But actually, I was looking over at one of the girls, and because they were standing over me, I was looking at one of the girls' tits, and she had some big old titties. So I was like, those titties right there. But they thought I was looking at like the sky and just imagining the stuff. And basically that was happening, and I blacked out again. Next thing you know, I'm running, and my dad is like following me because I'm fucking running off, and he has to follow me so I don't get lost. And I fall straight on my fucking face. Oh my god, it hurt, but it was fucking hilarious. And by the way, this whole trip, I was just I would black out, and then I would just imagine I would reappear, you know, in my life, and I could see what I'm doing then. But then I'd black out again. But anyways, after that happened, I'm running again, and I fall into a ditch, and my dad finds me, and he's like, man, why you keep running off? And I'm just like, shut up, man. And I look up at this, I'm looking up at this like little hill, and there's just this one tree up there, and I'm just like, Dad, I'm gonna run to that tree, because there's just one tree right at the top of the hill. I'm like, I'm gonna run to that tree, and he was like, no you're not. And I'm like, fuck, man, why not? He's like, cuz, that's crazy. And I was like, alright. So we go back to the camp, and my dad's friend is getting beat up. I mean, he's getting his ass fucking handled to him by these 3 redneck dudes that were there. And these guys fucking broke 3 of his ribs and gave him a huge black eye that was fucking purple. And it was, I mean, it was huge. We didn't find out that he had 3 broken ribs until the next morning, though, when he went to the hospital. But anyways, after that happened, he basically just sat down and had some more shots, or, you know, whatever, kept on drinking, and, you know, we kept on partying, you know. And those 3 hillbilly guys, they left. So now it's just me, my dad, and my dad's friend, and those 3 chicks. And we're all sitting there, and next thing you know, I start running again. And all the 3 kids that my dad's friend run with him, you know, it's his kids, they actually were just asleep. And I'm running again, and I fall into a ditch, and I'm just sitting there trying to sleep, and those 3 hillbilly guys are driving by me, and I'm thinking, like, in reality, I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm about to get hit. But right in that time zone, I was just like, fuck you motherfucking cops, because I thought it was a cop, but I knew it was the hillbilly guys. It was just my drunkenness. Anyways, I'm like, fuck you motherfuckers. And they drive past me, and my dad finds me, brings me back to the camp. And then my dad's friend runs over the cooker that was behind the car, and he was basically saying that he was gonna leave his kids and everybody, just leave and go to his house, because he felt like his ribs were broke. And he was just gonna leave, and he's drunk as fuck. So he runs over the thing. My dad pulls him out of the car, and he's like, dude, are you crazy? You can't just leave your kids here. And he's like, oh shit, forgot about them. And basically, next thing you know, they lock me in the tent because I'm running again. My dad just throws me in the tent. He doesn't lock me in there, but he throws me in there, and I don't know how to unzip it. So I'm just fucking rolling the tent around, rolling around in the tent, trying to break it and shit. Next thing you know, I find my way out of there, and I open up the zipper, and I start running again. And everybody's just looking at me, and they're just like, oh, fuck. And next thing you know, I'm just running again. And yeah, that was basically it. It was a crazy ass fucking trip, I can tell you guys that now. Anyways, after that, after I ran off again, my dad brought me back to the campground and just locked me in the car. I'm locked in the car now. And by the way, I want you guys to know that when I started this drinking shit, like when I started drinking that night, I had 3 shirts on, okay? I had a jacket on and 2 shirts. I woke up that morning with no shirts on. I lost 2 of my shirts. And I woke up in the passenger seat of the car with my dad sleeping in the back and my dad's friend sleeping in the driver's seat. I wake up with no shirts, and I look over at my dad's friend. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because I didn't know he got beat up that night. I wake up saying, what the fuck? Waking everybody up that night. And basically, I looked at him, and I was like, what the fuck? Because he had a huge black eye. And my dad starts cracking up, and basically, that's my trip. Hopefully, you guys do enjoy it. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!